So lately, I've noticed the dive community in Marvel Rivals has been thriving.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
Oh my god, please help me!
Yo, there's so much
Mag,
going on.
look at Mag, he's solo on point.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Huge.
Oh, wait, Marquise, huh?
Oh my god.
One is one. Throw one. Ooh, get the health back.
So now, you've completely mastered every topic in my guides from basic to intermediate. You're probably an amateur pro, or you might already be pro looking to improve at this point. Your game sense is through the roof. Your mechanics are so good, you're getting back-to-back cheating accusations. And people are looking at you. They're noticing. The next step for you is here. You've ended up exactly where you needed to be if you're watching this video. Give me time, and I'll put you a step above your peers, giving you advantages in trials for tourney teams, or even just your normal rank games. I don't just make great players, I create monsters. Let's lock in! You are about to view highly confidential EBK from the Dive Federation. Once you look, you can't unsee this. Godspeed, soldiers! I'm going to start with something I don't really see a lot of people talking about, and that's the mental game. This is going to be a bit of tough love, so stick with me. My point in bringing this up is you're not going to be able to win a lot of these games where everyone is trying their hardest if you are mental booming every time you see a 2 after first attack. The game is still winnable. Your job is not to analyze the other people's gameplay, but it's to look at your own. We keep our eyes on the prize and play as well as we possibly can all the time. The reason we do that is because if we're searching for consistency in our own gameplay, we need to continue to be consistent in the face of tough times. Being consistent means to play to the best of your abilities at all times and controlling your mental state to force clarity. I understand we're human, but the best of the best are not tilting easily, nor are they running down games all the time. Another part of the mental game is breaking the genjutsu that players that are already signed or well known are these immortal, unbeatable gods. They don't think of any other people that way, and they're good at the game. They ate lunch, went to the bathroom, and reposted the same Instagram model you just did. The point here is instead of glazing other players, you need to be in your own corner, rooting for your team and refining your gameplay as much as possible. It's what they did, it's how they're so good, and it's how you can be more consistent too. Break the illusion now, or continue to play in mediocrity. So when it comes to characters in this game, I like to divide the roster into 2 types of characters. Before you say something like,
Snipe, some of these characters can do both.
we're going to be focusing on what's easiest. If you want to mix it up or change the way you think about it after, that's fine by me, but we're doing this to add structure to the way you're thinking about the game. These types of characters are openers and closers. Some characters are better and almost tailored for securing final blows in this game, and some characters feel as though they are created to make opportunities that will result in a kill. Most people think about supports this way, however, this extends much further than just that role on its own. This is one of the best kept secrets in the community, and just this tip alone can improve your gameplay immensely by itself. I thought long and hard, I brainstormed all of these tips with instant impact on your gameplay in mind. Some good examples of openers, sticking with our theme of dive, are Venom, Iron Fist, and Jeff. These characters can definitely open a fight up and do supporting damage that will result in a kill. The point of this isn't to say they can't go in and kill someone, The point is to say that their kits simply aren't designed like closers are. What classifies these characters as openers is one of two things. Securing final blows on these characters normally comes with greater risk than others because their damage either has a special condition that can't instantly capitalize in a timely manner, or their kit is so tailored to first contact that by the time they've lined up a follow-up, it's already being capitalized on by someone else. Now, closers specialize at follow-up. Some good examples of closers are Spider-Man, Black Panther, and Captain America. Ever get someone to 1 health and you're calming it to them and it's just not dying? You either had someone on your team who didn't understand the responsibility of a closer, or you simply had no closers in your team composition. These types of characters are either A, always able to secure the final blow on a single target from anywhere due to speed or the range on their abilities, or B, they have very fast consecutive secure, meaning they can quickly secure more than 1 target that's low back to back and easily clean up a team fight. A problem I'll often see in a lot of gameplay compositions is that everyone wants to play an opener, but no one wants to finish the job and play a closer. The world's a stage and everybody has to play their part. Now that we've got you thinking differently, another way to set yourself up for success right before the engage is taking a bit of chip damage that doesn't get healed before staging.
Snipe, this sounds like throwing.
It's not. The reason we're doing this is because right before the engage, you're going to greed the health pack. What does it mean to greed a health pack? It just means to intentionally take a little damage to grab a health pack you don't need so someone on the enemy team can't retreat to it, so they can't have it. They'll be forced to either use their cooldowns or win the 1v1 quickly to survive. The amount of times I've had people tell me to touch grass over this or say super mean things is immeasurable, but it results in a win a lot of the time. Adding this weapon to your arsenal will definitely help make your gameplay more four-dimensional. A lot of people will call out supports for using 2 ults stacked on top of each other, and they're correct in calling this out. What they don't seem to notice, however, is how doubling DPS ults is also bad and the same exact thing. You ever see DPS have ults when the enemy supports don't have ults? A lot of the time, DPS are not calming to each other, "Hey bro, I got this one." They just press Q, and just like with supports, they fall victim to the no calm double ult. Then, if the fight is won early and the enemy supports don't have ults yet, they don't have an easy way to close out the next fight and are forced to play the neutral, where if they just didn't double ult, they would have a much easier time this next fight. Ult economy is not about the current fight. It's about min-maxing so that you have more resources for the next fight after. So I doubt a lot of you have ever heard this term before, and it comes from football actually. The way I applied it here is you have your diver, right? Your diver needs to find a small loop to run that 1, maximizes engagement options, and 2, has cover, and 3, includes a health pack to be as self-sufficient as possible. Running hot routes does telegraph your engage, but it also may bait enemy players looking to aggress onto you out of LOS of their supports, which means a higher success rate in taking duels. One successful hot route duel is all it takes for them to not want to push your corner again, and staging from there can make it difficult for people to keep track of who to look at. The reason this isn't in the intermediate or basic guides is I wanted you guys who have ascended to learn to stage properly before trying any variation of this. I said it before and I'll say it again. Trust in my process. You ever watch gameplay at the highest level of any game really and notice how one team is always walking forward and the other team is always pulling back when it happens? This is actually what tempo is. It's the speed and rhythm at which a team fight progresses and digresses. The easiest way that I've come to understand it in my countless years playing hero shooters is the wave. Appropriately named because of the heavy emphasis I've noticed on push and pull. It creates this situation where using cooldowns and aggressing carries momentum while the other team looks to take tempo away by kiting. In a game where there are no mistakes being made, the only time you can take away from the enemy's tempo without kiting will be ultimates. They provide the most momentum, and the team who builds the largest advantage, or wave, usually wins the fight outright. There is a such thing as overkill though, and that's where you get poor ult economy. Overuse of ults on a team-wide scale will result in your team's wave being dwarfed by what seems like a tsunami in comparison the next fight. This is a way to simplify tempo for some of you. Think of two waves crashing. The one with more momentum always wins out. A wave that has crashed will always retreat. Sometimes it's better to split target priority than to dive the same target 24/7. Let's say there's a duo on the enemy team, a Widow and a Mantis, for example. You're going to have to simultaneously dive these characters with your partner to split them up and get a pick off on one. If both of their damage and CC goes on to one person, they will die. But if you split them up and kill Mantis first, Widow doesn't get a refresh on her healing or damage buff when it runs out, and there's also less of a chance that one of you dies. This is a scenario where you would split dive to shift focus away from peeling for DPS, because most players don't even think about this. Most people are under the impression that only supports need to be peeled for. Have you ever heard the term, "I'm back fast"? Yeah? Well, there's another missing puzzle piece to it, and it's what we call trading. Trading should only be necessary in the highest of the high lobbies, where you're having to force something to get value. A good example of trading is Jitward. Here, you can see he trades his life for immense value, but his death just doesn't matter because he's back fast. As soon as he dies and the respawn timer runs out, he's immediately back in the fight, faster than the people he killed. This isn't a complicated topic, but I wanted you to learn to play the game at a base level before sharing this tip. Tanks are the bread and butter at extending dive time, so that the DPS have a larger window to work with. A way you can actually make this easier is by doing something called shadowing. Shadowing is basically following your tank around during the stage to make sure your engagement timing is perfect. It's just an easier way for you to be able to cash in on your tank taking the enemy backline's aggression. This isn't something I see even a full 1% of Marvel Rivals players doing, so this is a way you can instantly level up and make engagement much easier than having loosely structured, ill-timed engagements. The more people that see this, the better. There are 3 ways you can help support me: using the hype feature on mobile 3 times, sharing this video in every large Discord server you're in. Even if someone there already shared it, do it again. When you win a match, just type Diveology in match chat. Nothing else, just Diveology. Don't be rude, don't be nasty. If we keep doing this, eventually Diveology can become a household word until all dive players across the globe who have been exposed to me are doing well. That's all for Diveology. We may return to this again at some point in the future with a mini series as I deem it necessary. But for now, we're bringing Diveology to a close. What? Don't look at me like that. I'm gonna cry. I've seen so many of you improving that it's motivated me to continue making content for the foreseeable future. Many little caterpillars have evolved into big, beautiful diving butterflies. This isn't the end of an era, but the beginning of a dynasty. I'm not going anywhere, and there are still 2 other compositions we have to cover. With that said, teaching you guys has been the best time of my life. From Professor Snipehardt to you. Until next time, soldiers.
After playing with you all summer and after